Hello, guys. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are talking about a cruise ship that sank years ago. It sank 100 years after the Titanic sank. It was in early 2012. And this is the Costa Concordia. Let's begin on how this ship sank. The Costa Concordia was a cruise ship owned by Costa Cruise Lines. Costa Cruise Lines is owned by Carnival Cruise Line. In the year 2004, Costa Cruise Lines are gonna introduce the Costa Concordia. The ship was built in Fincantieri, Italy. The Costa Concordia weighed 114,137 tons, which is too heavy. The water can still make it float. Aside from the Concordia, Costa Cruise Lines ordered another 5 ships of the Concordia class, such as the Costa Serena, Costa Pacifica, Costa Favolosa, and the Costa Fascinosa. All these 5 ships are now sisters in the Costa Cruise Lines, with only one of them sunken down. Now let's know how the Costa Concordia run aground next to an island. The Costa Concordia was launched back in the year of 2005. Its maiden voyage all started back in 2006. Except for one thing. The naming ceremony bottle didn't break, which means bad luck for the Costa Concordia. Watch this footage of the fairy godmother attempting to try and break the bottle, naming the Costa Concordia. You really saw that, guys? The bottle didn't actually break. Okay, now, in January of 2012, the Costa Concordia sets sail to a destination in Italy. On 9:40 p.m., the ship is making her turn for the island of Giglio. The bridge officers are doing it, since the captain is eating dinner. However, there is a miscommunication between the captain to the officer at helm on what correct turning course should be. Because of the incorrect heading numbers, the turning radius of the ship to sail alongside the island is much wider than it has to be. It brought the ship 659 meters closer to the shore than it was supposed to be. Seconds later, at 9:44 p.m., the portside under the waterline of the Concordia was gashing water by making a hole with an underwater rock. The hole was 60 meters long, breaching several watertight compartments. The Concordia immediately lost power in its generators, and it lost full propulsion from its 2 propellers at the stern. The ship's emergency generators kicked in while the passengers are eating dinner. After the emergency generators kicked in, the passengers started to panic. By 9:51 p.m., an announcement was made to the passengers, ensuring the situation had been under control, and technicians were fixing the problem. However, moments later, the bridge was informed that 3 watertight compartments had been breached, and the water has reached the main electrical panel. This was communicated to the Costa Crisis Center via the captain. Minutes later, by 10:07 p.m., the harbor contacts the Costa Concordia. However, the ship claims that the situation is only a blackout and that they have the situation under control. During this time, the deputy chief engineer meets with the officers on the bridge to inform them that the flooding has appeared to reach compartments 4, 5, 6, and 7. The Concordia is starting to list as water fills the watertight compartments. The passengers are going to deck 4, where all the lifeboats are. The captain decided to make the ship drift into shallow water, where at the worst case, the vessel would rest on the seabed. Flooding worsened as the ship's listing, even at this time not the captain, nor Costa Cruise Lines, contacted anyone for help. As the situation below decks worsened, and as the passengers climbed into lifeboats themselves, finally at 10:35 p.m., the bridge calls for an abandoned ship, and the emergency alarm is sounded. There are currently 4,229 passengers aboard the Costa Concordia. By now, everyone on board, including the crew, are making their way to the lifeboats, and they are crowding the lifeboats as one by one of the lifeboats have launched. At 11 p.m., the Concordia started listing on its starboard side more than 25 degrees. Running aground next to the island of Giglio caused the Concordia to list the starboard side or the right side. Any hope of this vessel being saved was gone, and as lifeboats continued to launch, the starboard list continued to worsen. By now, the majority of the bridge officers had left their positions, including the captain, and by 11:30, the bridge of the Costa Concordia has been abandoned. As water reached deck for starboard side, the sinking of the Concordia accelerated as listing got to the point where lifeboats being launched from the port or left side is impossible. 80 people remained on the ship, ascending down the side of the hull by a rope ladder where rescue boats by the Coast Guard were waiting. The captain returned to the shore, where the Coast Guard began demanding him to return to the vessel. He never did. The Coast Guard continued to rescue people still clinging to the side of the ship. Most residents living on Giglio welcomed the stranded passengers to their homes. The Concordia ended up like this on an 80-degree angle. The starboard side is completely submerged in the water. In 2014, the wreck of the Concordia got in original position. It was towed to Genoa port, where it was scrapped. This is what the Concordia looked like when it was getting towed. It looks rusty. 32 people died as the Concordia was still sinking. R.I.P. those people. Okay, this is the end of the video. Like and subscribe if you want me to play Rainbow Friends indoors.